The news: gunmen kidnap students from private university in Kaduna State. The Federal Executive Council approves 8.3 billion naira for road construction. And Senate approves fresh external loans for federal government. Glad to have you join us on News Now at this time. Oli Adekunle. It was another sad day in Kaduna State today as the staff of Greenfield University has been killed during an attack on the academic institution located along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. Suspected bandits attacked the private university in the early hours of Wednesday and kidnapped many students. The number of students kidnapped is yet to be ascertained. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs in Kaduna State, Samuel Arowan, confirmed the incident and said the number of victims will be confirmed after a head count of the students. This incident is coming less than 24 hours after Governor Nasir El-Rufai called on the military to wipe out all bandits in the state and the country at large. El-Rufai has been advocating a tough military action against the bandits and have refused to negotiate with kidnappers. Well, let's now join Dennis Amatri, a security consultant and former director of the DSS, to speak more on this issue. Mr. Amatri, thank you very much for joining us on the news. Now, obviously, the bandits are daring and they're not afraid of any military onslaught against them. Is it not time for the Kaduna State government now to start the process of dialogue, or bearing in mind now that there are still about 27 students from the university that was abducted some months or a few weeks ago in the net of the abductors?
Contrary, I would think that this is the best time not to negotiate with them. Right now, I think there is a concerted effort by the security agencies to do something about it, and I think they are going to do it. We're not going to discuss this on TV because even the bandits, I think some of them are listening to what we're talking about.
So would you say, is this a problem of failed intelligence, or why are we seeing these bold recurrent attacks on even security personnel?
It is not a failure in intelligence. I have all the confidence in the Nigerian intelligence community, and I think they will do their best. What we're doing and what is happening right now in the country is a situation where these bandits are taking advantage of the loopholes that exist in the security infrastructure of this country. Because when you look at it right now, they are talking about Greenfield University, a very small, tiny university located somewhere on the expressway between Kaduna and Abuja. Think of others that are there. They are all there and nothing has been done. So they will be picking on all these things while the governors, if you remember, as having a serious retreat on how to make the schools safe for, students.
Oh, Mr. Dennis Amatri, security consultant and former director of the DSS. So thank you very much for speaking to us on News Now. And the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved an additional 8.39 billion naira for the completion of the Tambuwal-Jega Makera Road in Sokoto and Kebbi states. Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, disclosed this at the end of Wednesday's virtual council meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Fashola said FEC granted the request of the contractor for the augmentation of the contract sum.
The Ministry of Works and Housing presented one memorandum to Council. It was for the augmentation of the contract for Sokoto, Tambuwal, Jega, Makera Road. The portion covering 185 kilometers awarded to CRCC Construction Company. The company was seeking an augmentation of the contract sum by 8.39 billion naira, which was approved. And the reason was for price changes essentially between 2012 when the contract was awarded and now. Materials and costs have changed, and also the scope of works of the 85 kilometers of the road has to be changed now from rehabilitation to reconstruction because it has deteriorated from when it was awarded 12 years ago. So council approved this, and just for your information, there are two sections of the road because it comes all the way from Sokoto to Makera. The first section was awarded to Triacta. That section is 296 kilometers. We've completed that. We completed it just recently.
The Nigerian Senate has approved a fresh $1.5 billion and 995 million euros external loans for the federal government. This approval followed consideration of the report of its Committee on Local and Foreign Debts on the external borrowing plan of the federal government during plenary on Wednesday. In his presentation, Chairman of the committee, Clifford Odia, told the lawmakers that the panel had considered the loan request and was recommending its approval. The 995 million euro loan is meant for agricultural mechanization across the 774 local government areas of the country, while the $1.5 billion loan will be used to fund critical infrastructure in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The loan is to be facilitated by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, World Bank, African Development Bank Group, and the Export and Import Bank of Brazil.
That the Senate do approve the external borrowing of the sum of $1.5 billion and 995 million euros from the following multilateral and bilateral institutions. Of course, they have all been detailed earlier, and I think I may have to go one by one. One, the World Bank. Basically, for the purpose of this loan is to save physical transparency, accountability, and sustainability programs to provide physical support to states, popularly known as STIFTAs. And it's $750 million, and the interest rate is 2.4% per annum. Of course, broken down into 0.7% service charge, 5% commitment charge, 1.25% interest rate. It's for a grace period of 5 years, and the tenure is 25 years.
Therefore, resolve as follows. 1. That the Senate do approve the external borrowing of the sum of $1,500 million and 995 million euros from the following multilateral and bilateral institutions, and I will read them. World Bank. Purpose: state fiscal transparency, accountability and sustainability program to provide fiscal support to state STIFTAs. Amount $750 million, interest rate 2.45% per annum. Grace period 5 years, tenure 5 years, 25 years. World Bank. Number 2, World Bank COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program to support state-level efforts to protect livelihoods, ensure food security, and stimulate economic activity and cares. $750 million, 2.5% interest rate per annum, 5 years grace period, 25 years of tenure.
The Nigerian Senate has called for the liberalization of Nigeria's cement policies to boost production and subsequently reduce the price of the commodity. The upper chamber made the call amid resolutions reached sequel to the consideration of a motion brought to the floor by Senator Ashiru Oyelola and 5 others during plenary. TV360's Mary Kanu reports.
The skyrocketing price of cement is giving the upper chambers a reason to worry. This is because an increase in the price of cement comes with an increase in other building materials, which will eventually be transferred on the masses who will either rent the house or buy it. The lawmakers during the debate expressed concern that if the status quo persists, the negative consequence of high prices on the economy will outweigh the benefits of producing cement locally.
Nigerian cement factory is oligopolistic in nature, with just 3 players. Dangote Cement controlling 60%, Lafarge controlling 21%, and Boa 17.6%, largely dominating the scene, therefore making it susceptible to price fixing. Convinced that If the status quo persists, the negative consequences of high price on the economy will outweigh the benefits of locally processing cement.
The Senate called on the federal government to provide more industrial incentives and industrial protection, such as offering concessionary loans and larger tax incentives for new entrants in order to boost production of cement, reduce price and encourage more valuable producers in Nigeria.
Cement appears to be a critical commodity that has effect on our national economy. It's therefore important that we pay attention to this commodity, like we pay attention to other commodities such as fuel, for example. Mr. President, I think this motion is up, and I urge the Senate to pay attention to all the prayers so that we can have an intervention in this industry because of its reverberating effect on our national economy.
The Senate said it strongly believes there is an urgent need to encourage more local production of cement to satisfy the demands of Nigeria with a steady growth rate of approximately 3% per annum, a housing deficit of 30 million units, and less engagement of over 10.5 million workforce in the building and construction industry.
Human trafficking is one of the fastest growing crimes globally. As part of efforts to prevent more Nigerians from becoming victims of the crime, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, in collaboration with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, have launched a new project to intensify awareness against the ills of trafficking and provide support for victims. The project, Preventing Trafficking in Persons through a Traveling Awareness-Raising Exposition, is funded by the government of Switzerland. Details in this next report. Men, women, young and old, no age or gender is immune to human trafficking, but what makes the huge difference is knowledge. Since 2011, the IOM has maintained a strong partnership with the Swiss government to provide information on migratory flows and prevent irregular migration. One of the fruits of the partnership is the official handover of the Blue Bus, a fully equipped and specially designed exposition bus which passes the message on the risks and challenges associated with trafficking in Nigeria.
When the former DG of NAPTIP traveled to Switzerland and saw a similar project in Switzerland, also against human trafficking, which was the pink bus. So it was a pink bus. And then she said, well, let's do this here in Nigeria, but let's do it a blue bus because NAPTIP is blue. That's how the logo is. And then we said, yeah, sure, let's do it. Why not? So we've tried to adapt, together with IOM and NAPTIP, try to adapt that project in Switzerland to the Nigerian context. Of course, there's a lot of differences in terms of size, etc. And we are very excited to now see it rolling out.
The Blue Bus is designed with boldly written and audio-visual messages. It's a mobile awareness-raising platform where potential and vulnerable migrants, including community members, can access information relating to human trafficking, report cases, and receive counseling services. The Blue Bus will be making stops in over 20 endemic communities in Lagos, Edo, and Delta states for an initial period of 6 months. The IOM says this will further help expand its grassroots engagements across Nigeria.
It will go to different communities, stay there for some time, and talk and speak with people, provide counseling to those in need, and also give them the necessary information. If that information doesn't exist on the bus, they will be provided or they will be referred to the specific location to do so. NAPTIP taking ownership of this will expand the lifespan of it, would sustain what we start today. And then we'll examine the effectiveness of it and the sort of places and communities that we need to address and go forward from there.
On his part, the representative of the Director General of NAPTIP says the Blue Bus serves as another important channel to amplify its counter-trafficking messages.
We are going to use this Blue Bus project to embark on a serious and aggressive sensitization campaign against the human trafficking. It is a pilot project, and we hope that in a very near future we will replicate the kind of project in other states of the Federation.
The expectation for the Blue Bus project is that for every community the bus stops, it empowers residents to stand up and do their part to end human trafficking. Oyin Adekunle, TV360, Nigeria. The Association of Professional Printers in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is lamenting that the sector is heading for the rocks if government does not act fast to support the printers. The printers in a breakfast meeting on Thursday said they have no access to facilities from the Central Bank or the Bank of Industries to help revive the sector during the COVID-19 pandemic. TV360's Mary Kanu reports.
With many sectors lamenting the negative effects of the global pandemic on their businesses, the Association of Professional Printers in Abuja has also expressed deep worry of the dwindling fortunes of the sector as a result of the pandemic. In this hall are small and medium-scale business owners in the printing sector. They are here to deliberate how to save their businesses from crashing following the impact of COVID-19.
So we are badly hit. Our sales have dropped, some as low as 60%. So we have experienced drop in sales. We have experienced increase in the prices of consumables and machineries as a result of the increase in the dollar rate. And most of us have challenges traveling out of the country because of the rules, the issue of vaccination and all that. So we are badly hit. In fact, most printing companies have reduced their workforce.
Association, printing in Nigeria has been abandoned, and we are calling on all stakeholders in the print industry, the government, in their policies and lawmaking to see that the issue of printers is brought to the front burner. Now there is no employment anywhere. But I want to assure the government of any nation, including that of Nigeria, that if printing is given the attention it deserves, I assure them that a lot of things, a lot of problems, unemployment, a lot of it will be taken off the streets.
While support is being provided for some small businesses to survive by government because of the pandemic, the printers say they did not get any support from government, while the requirements for loan facility are too stringent.
That there are enough laws, there are enough policies of government that have provided, some kind of interventions for businesses, to enjoy what the government has to offer. But the challenge is where practitioners are not together, where they are not cohesive enough, it becomes very difficult as individual practitioner to engage with government, to engage with organizations, with agencies that have whatever is available to help them to navigate a very turbulent time such as we have right now.
One of the things we're going to hammer on is unhealthy rivalry within the industry. So if we see ourselves as one in the same business, then love will reign supreme, where we can have a united group or industry where we speak with one voice.
The body says if it gets support from government, it will help employ thousands of Nigerians who are jobless.
Let's take a pause here, but still to come, analysts discuss proposed fuel increase. Details on that and more shortly.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Many thanks for staying with us on News Now. Here is a quick reminder of some of our top stories tonight. Suspected bandits have attacked Greenfield University in Kaduna State. A member of staff was killed during the attack while many students were abducted. The number of students kidnapped is yet to be ascertained. And we also told you that the Nigerian Senate has approved $1.5 billion and 995 million euro external loans for the federal government. The approval followed consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt on the external borrowing plan of the federal government during plenary on Wednesday. And in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google+ at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. For the 8th consecutive day, Nigeria has not recorded any fatality from the coronavirus infections in the country. Data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, shows that the country's death toll remains 2,061. The country also recorded an additional 120 new coronavirus infections on Tuesday, bringing the total number of cases in the country to 164,423. The new infections were recorded in 8 states, with Enugu leading with 53 cases, followed by Lagos and Rivers with 22 and 18 cases respectively. The NCDC also disclosed in its latest reports that it has conducted 1.8 million COVID-19 tests in the country since the beginning of the pandemic in the country in February 2020. Well, we'll take another break here and return with business updates. Don't go away.
Hello, Alahaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I'll just call you.
Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you're raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country. Corruption, not in my country.
Welcome back, and for business news, we have Mary Kanu standing by. Over to you now, Mary.
Thank you very much, Oyi.
Owing to the recent increase in global oil price, the federal government as well as independent petroleum marketers say the time to increase the pump price of petrol may come sooner than expected. Recent data by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency shows that the agency placed the expected pump price of petrol at 239 naira 31 kobo per litre as of April 16, with daily petrol consumption put at about 60 million litres by the NNPC and a subsidy of 77 naira 31 kobo per litre. Daily subsidy amounts to 4.64 billion naira. Our correspondent in this report takes a look at how the regulation of the sector as well as removal of fuel subsidy would impact the economy. This is what the petrol situation was like in Abuja yesterday after threats by petrol tanker drivers to embark on strike, with black market sellers having a good business day. Long queues spiraled all over the city while buyers struggled to get the products.
Why I'm here is because of the fuel. You can see everybody's on the queue for fueling. And I think if I'm not waste time here, I've wasted like 4 or 5 hours. And looking at the situation of things now, if I could get this fuel, if I can get it around 5, 6, then I'm lucky.
We are here since morning, since 6 o'clock. I joined this queue. So now it's almost 12:30. I was this line. So we don't know what is the problem of this country.
As far as I'm concerned, it's sudden because as at yesterday, this queue, the queue wasn't here. But I woke up this morning to now run into this queue.
In reaction, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mele Kyari, assured Nigerians that the queues building up in filling stations will abate soon.
These queues will go away because there was industrial action by petroleum tanker drivers against their employers, the National Association of Road Transport Owners, around their compensation package. And those issues were not resolved up to yesterday until we intervened to ensure that there's an amicable settlement between the parties so that they will have peace, and then normal loading operations will commence from the depots. As I speak to you this moment now, loading has commenced in all depots in the country. Dispatches of trucks are ongoing in all depots in the country, and they have called up the strike for a period of 1 week.
For months now, there have been agitations by the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, to increase the pump price of petrol from its current selling price of 162 naira per litre to as much as 230 naira per litre. In agreement, government says this demand is hinged on recent increase in global oil prices and a depreciation of the naira against the dollar, which has jacked up the landing cost of premium motor spirit to 216 naira per litre.
As a country, let us take the benefits of the higher crude oil prices, and I hope that we'll also be ready to take a little pain on the other side.
While it makes business sense for marketers and government to fully deregulate the sector and discontinue subsidy on fuel, which rose to 120 billion naira monthly, economic expert says the long-term effects will be more favorable.
Increase the cost of living of an average Nigerian city lead to a higher level of a higher rate of inflation. So it will see the worsening. It will worsen the standard of living as as the cost of living increases, the standard of living decreases. But that will be in the short to medium term. In the long term, it will lead to a restriction of the economy.
If the rise in global oil price is sustained and government fully implements its deregulation policy, Nigerians must brace up and get ready to purchase a litre of petrol for as much as 239 naira per litre. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News. Well, we'll take a pause here and return with stock market reviews. Stay with us. The bulls maintained its dominance in the Nigerian exchange group as the market witnessed a rebalance, closing today's trading with a 0.29% gain, with a market capitalization of 20.44 477 trillion naira. Now, volume, value and deals were lower than the previous market trading, despite the gains recorded as 239 million volumes of shares valued at 1.633 billion naira were exchanged in 3,746 deals. Now, gains from the oil and gas and financial services sector propelled shares as corn oil and Eterna had gains worth 2 naira 25 kobo. Now, conversely, for a record second day, Port Paint and Guinness recorded 3 naira 41 kobo losses to take the position of top losers. Now, on the global scene, gains by energy heavyweight Royal Dutch Shell saw the FTSE rise today by 0.52% to rise at 0.5% rather to trade at 0.52%. Dow Jones also rallied high today and is trading in the greens at 0.62%, while Asian stock Nikkei is currently trading in the reds at 2.03%. That's all on Stock Market Review. It's back to Oyin for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much for that update, Mary. And we'll move on now to the foreign scene, where a Chadian rebel group advancing south from Libya says it has rejected a military transition led by the son of late President Idris Deby, who died on Monday, and vowed to march on the capital in N'Djamena. Mahamat Idris Deby was named interim president by a transitional council of military officials on Tuesday after his father was killed in battle. The Front for Change and Concord in Chad, FACT rebels, said in a statement that it rejects transfer of power from father to son, since Chad is not a monarchy. Well, it's now time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nigerian comedian Ada Jesus has died 2 days after celebrating her birthday. The 22-year-old comedian died on Wednesday, April 21 in an Abuja-based hospital after suffering a cardiac arrest. Ada Jesus had spent months in the hospital after being diagnosed with kidney disease. When her health took a turn for the worse, she went to ask for forgiveness from those she had spoken against in the past, including popular pastor Prophet Odumeje and Nollywood actress Rita Edochie. There were reports that the ailment came after she implied that the prophet and actress were working together to perform fake miracles. May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace. An Accra High Court has granted convicted actress Ekwapenpolo 80,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 verifiable sureties. Ekwapenpolo was sentenced to 3 months in prison for sharing a nude photo of herself and her son on social media. She was charged with publication of obscene materials, engaging in domestic violence and undermining human dignity, which she pleaded guilty to. Her conviction, however, stirred reactions online, as some of her fans also signed petitions seeking her release. Following the development, the court finally granted her bail with conditions attached. That's all we have for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Well, with that, we call it a wrap on News Now. Thank you for watching. I am Oyin Adekunle.